Hello everybody, and welcome to episode 21 of Let's Play Republic to Revolution. As usual, we will be spending today fighting back against the anarchists and the criminal mafia elements, which have spent quite a while so far since our arrival in Pugachev. They have spent the entire time attempting to undermine and defeat us. Today I'm hoping that we can make some much needed headway and actually fight our way out of our conundrum, to put it simply. This will require some strong efforts from all sides and some relentless assaults upon our enemies. Now Churnyayev, god damn it, every single episode so far I've just mispronounced his name. Churnyayev will be working in the Solovyev estate and in other areas around it for the purpose of gathering more support from patriotic elements in this country. In the meantime, we're starting to lose information, and we need information. We need information badly. And so we're going to campaign to get that information. Meanwhile, our good old friends from the Constantino cartel have attacked and seized half of Laika Common. No, that is not an armed way to do it, but simply politically. Nonetheless, we have 51%, which is the necessary majority, which is good. I'd far prefer to cooperate, or even to compete on friendly terms with the Constantino cartel, than to basically combat the mafia and the anarchists tooth and nail. At least the cartel had principles. Although the Red Mafia is beginning to launch more and more attacks upon us. And this cannot be permitted anymore. We have got to fight. We have got to triumph. We're continuing to organize charitable events, continuing to help the common man in his daily struggle. And yet, it does not appear to be enough. We must strike back against these vandals and these graffiti artists. We must defeat them in every single field, in every single way. Meanwhile, Oleg Baturin has reached the rank of bishop, thus consolidating the religious aspect of our movement even further. And now, as we enter day 73, we receive a relatively bleak forecast of everything. Our resolve remains highest, our level remains high, but we are still the weakest movement in the town. We are making little to no headway, and this is getting gradually more and more frustrating. I'm gonna hold a rally. At least if I can. In the Ratushinskaya fields. A big open one to let the people know. Now let's give Baturin a much needed promotion. So, perhaps I can boost his charity work or his public criticism. I'm thinking I'll boost the charity work for now. We'll strengthen his charisma and his status, and we'll give a few more points to boost his control. Our resolve remains high as we continue our righteous struggle. We're scouting around the area as well. We appear to have a chance at gaining ground. I'm wondering what happened in Alexandrovsk Industrial Park. Perhaps you could try recruiting Mr. Gleb Ignatiev. So, he's a former army captain. However, he has quite a bad reputation, he is quite corrupt indeed, and I do not believe that he would be the right kind of person for our movement. He would certainly help us to fight against our enemies, though. Because we are getting put in a very, very, very tricky situation, if I can say so myself. It's a situation that I do not wish upon anybody. But now I shall take the stand and give another speech. Let's hope that this one actually has enough impact. We're doing it in a public space this time. We're not in the park. We're here, we're on cobblestones. We have moved up. This is a step further than before. We are making it. And now we're going to do our traditional semicircle loop around into the venue. We shall walk out from beneath a cloud, getting that symbolism, that imagery, nailing it right there. And now we're going to go around the trees' shadow. We don't want to get shown as a leader of the shadows now. We aren't corrupt after all. And we've just decided to fuck off and walk away from the venue. I mean, that's always good. There's nothing wrong with it. Except the fact that the rally is going on about 50 meters away. Well, glorious AI pathfinding at work. We finally turned around. Now we might actually be able to take the stand. Hopefully nobody will attack us during the rally. I'm not sure if it's just me or if the crowds are in fact bigger. Now let's take up the microphone. Dear Novistrada, we have gathered today at this rally in a time of crisis, in a time when our movement is under attack by hostile elements, by elements that conspire against us. But we shall triumph in our righteous struggle. In order to triumph, we must remain united. We must achieve strength through unity and fight without fear. We must not be reluctant. We must dare to fight. We must dare to win. And I believe that it is through our combined efforts that we can establish our ideological supremacy and our triumph on the streets at the very same time. We must take a multi-faceted approach towards triumph. We must overcome through intelligent campaigning, through appealing to the people, and of course through creating a proper party program. This social movement of ours shall be triumphant. It is true, however, that our enemies are powerful, but we are more powerful. Our victory gets nearer with every day. I would like to thank you immensely for all your contribution to the struggle so far. Oh, with that speech dubbed over, let's see if the situation has gotten any worse. So far it has not, however we've lost our majority in that area. We no longer have a majority anywhere. Although we are gaining ground in the Ratushinskaya fields. We must continue our campaign relentlessly. We must fight, we must resist, we must come out on top. There is no other option. There really is not. And now as we lose Vesnin town, we must act. We must act decisively. We must act with decision, as I've said. And I keep saying because I have nothing better to say. We must take action before it is too late. Before it becomes too late for us to win. Too late for us to prevail. And I'm afraid that with every passing day, it's growing later and later. Meanwhile, one of our other comrades is busy giving a speech. He's taken up the microphone and he's continuing our ideological fervor. He is continuing to advance our movement forwards. This is no longer a one-man movement, but truly a national one. I'm wondering whether we should attempt to march into the Mir estate and take control of the big sports stadium. It's an absolute monstrosity, and it would give us a hell of a lot of force points. Which would be quite welcome. Either this, or we could of course attempt some kind of long march, relocate our movement to the Pugachev fields. But suddenly we have gained Laika Common. We have taken control. I don't know how it happened, but we did it. We have control, full control over Laika Common, and we have control over the Grand Hotel, giving us extra influence points, enabling us to continue our struggle. Our friends are not especially happy with us, but I really have stopped giving damns. What does concern me, however, is the strength of our enemies in other places. We need to slow down for a second and take a look at the situation. We have the majority in Pugachev, in Pugachev's northwest. There we go. I finally managed to properly articulate one sentence. This is progress. At the very same time, we are capable of launching activities against the enemies of our movement. We could go into the Solovyev estate, we could go into other places as well. Perhaps we should attack our former comrades, our former allies in the Constantino cartel. Or we can always just back our old friends up and instead go against the Red Mafia. Which seems like a better idea considering the current circumstances. We'll send our men to do some scouting work as well. This should be helpful. We'll get Mr. Chernyaev to hold some events in this area, and of course now that the Constantino cartel is moving against us in the town center, we will be obliged to stop them. Meanwhile, they're launching hostile takeovers of businesses. this can be used against them, quite simply. And that's what we're going to do. We're going to assault the positions of the Constantino cartel, and we're also going to press back into the good old Udalsova precinct, our former stomping ground, because the anarchists are giving their all to take over that area, and we can't allow them to do that. We have to act decisively, we have to achieve victory, we need to come out on top. Which is exactly what we are going to go out and do. Our scouting activities have become redundant as we gain more information about the area. We're making headground. We're pushing forward. We are pushing these enemies of ours back. It seems for the moment that we might actually have... I stand corrected, I was about to say that we had a guaranteed position. We just lost an entire district in the space of a few hours. Alrighty then. We're going to jump right back into Laika Common. We are going to make ourselves heard once more. We're going to make ourselves seen. We are going to establish ourselves as a powerful movement here. We'll cancel other activities, any ones that don't seem beneficial. We'll promote the ones that have a chance of strengthening us, as we continue our assault against all organized crime movements. It isn't just the Red Mafia anymore, now it's the cartel too. We're striking at them, and we're going to beat them. We're going to cast them out, because there's no other choice. The situation is starting to grow desperate again, and I'm starting to grow anxious again. Our position in... I can't remember the name of the town, goddammit. Our position in... Pugachev is continuing to be precarious. We're continuing to be under threat, but now we actually have a chance to jump in here. Alright, our points are renewed. Let's get in. Let's take what is ours. We're going to march in to Ratushinskaya Field. We're going to do some charity work. We're going to win the hearts of the people. We're going to do the same in the Soloviev estate. We're going to send our good friend here, Churniev, in there with the army draft. We're going to begin a relentless attack against our enemies. We're not going to give them a moment of rest. Not one. We're going to take this place back. We're going to take back the streets. We're going to establish ourselves as winners. And this must be done at all costs. We're launching poster campaigns, making ourselves heard. This is going better than I expected, and I'm glad about it. And if all goes well, we should be able to preserve our gains throughout the city. Now we've got one army draft activity planned in most of the districts that we're targeting. And hopefully that should be enough to guarantee our control. This is a daring operation, but it should be successful. Since we're also currently undertaking an attack against our former friends in the cartel. If we can take over this area, this general area around here, we should be able to achieve a sweeping victory. We should be able to therefore take the first step towards conquering Pugachev for ourselves. Our comrade Churniev has gained a level, while the press has published reports condemning the Constantino cartel, courtesy of our own investigative journalistic activities. All I can say is that we have done very good work. So now we can strengthen either his army draft ability, his scout ability, his assault ability, I don't know which one. I think we might strengthen the army draft and therefore boost his status, his presence, and his control. And although the army draft action is going to start costing us a lot more money, I mean a lot more resources, it should, however, become more and more effective. Which is exactly my goal. We're gaining ground. We're gaining ground on all fronts as our activities have been set. Now all we have to do is carry them out, which I believe we should be leaving for the next episode. If you're enjoying the series so far, do not forget to leave a like and a comment and to subscribe to my channel to show your support. I have been the Nerd Gamer, thank you very much for watching, and I will see you all in the very next episode of Republic the Revolution.